Hey, Jeff, have you seen my lunch? I think someone stole it out of the fridge.
No, I don't think so. I took a couple beers out of there, but that's it.
Jeff, that was my lunch.
Hey guys, welcome in to the Bro Force Squad podcast. This is our review of Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. Season 6, Episode 10, entitled Leap, which after you've seen the episode is kind of a fucked up thing to call the episode.
It really is.
I just realized that. I am your host, Jeff Hornacek. Thank you guys so much for checking us out. We're just a bunch of bros drinking beer and watching TV. And the voice you just heard is my partner in crime, the mad scientist, Brian Boehner, here to review this episode as we do all of our TV episodes on the 4 Bro Force Squad criteria, where we talk about the acting, the story, our favorite scene, and then any theories or questions going forward. So, Banner, we'll start with acting. I think this was one of the most intense episodes of the season. It kind of harkened back to Agents of Hydra in terms of how high the stakes felt, and a lot of dramatic through lines for people. So who
For
performed
sure.
well or weak in terms of the acting here?
I think top to bottom, this might have been the strongest episode of the season. And even going back to the Ages of Hydra season, I think you will have a hard time finding an episode where everybody brought their A game this hard. But there's two people specifically, which I keep feel like we bring up their name almost every fucking week. But Davis and Piper, I don't fucking know their actors' names because it doesn't really matter. But we shit on them a lot on this podcast. They punched above their weight for sure this episode. Both Davis and Piper did great, and I don't know that I want to give them enough respect to actually look up their names, like the actor and actresses' names, but they did really, really well. Piper, especially, kind of going in and out of the, I guess, leaping. Is that what we're calling it? That's
Yeah,
fucking dumb.
maybe that's
But
what leap means, but I don't know.
yeah, I don't know. I like to think that it wasn't Davis leaping to his death.
Yeah. I know the only reason I know Davis' name, the actor Maximilian Osinski, is because I had written him down here too. I think we need to pour one out for him first off.
For sure.
That was a very, I mean, as far as like things that they can show on network television, that was pretty gruesome.
That well, and whenever they shot Piper's hand,
Dude, and scene was super fucking intense. So I
yeah,
guess we'll talk about this in theories and questions, but I'm assuming that Izel either has the highest pain tolerance ever, she's like Cal Ripken Jr., or she just cannot, when she gets in your body, she doesn't feel anything.
yeah,
One
it's
of the
got to
two.
be something like that. We'll get to that in a little bit. But who did you have other than Maximilia as your acting and cast
So
standouts?
I thought Clark Gregg was awesome as Sarge in this episode. That confrontation scene he had with Izel, that was like my second favorite scene in the whole
I
episode, and we'll
I
talk about what
agree.
that was perfect. And I think the setting of it, like in the dark, in that corridor, just felt, I was like, dude, what the fuck's gonna happen here?
Yeah, it was super intense, and again, we've kind of shit on him this entire season. This is the Clark Gregg that I miss. We got this every fucking episode for 5 seasons, and now we're in the 6th season. We haven't got it. Okay, yeah, he's still there.
Yeah, and I think what else made that performance so great in that specific scene was they kind of had to give us exposition there, like tell us what was happening in the episode, which normally you're like, okay, this is important, but it's not very emotionally driven. But that was not the case there. Like, it was like I felt for Sarge in that moment. He's
Oh
I
yeah,
don't know, he's just been dealt such a bad fucking hand. I finally kind of empathize with him,
yeah,
even though I'm still not 100% sure what Izel was saying.
yeah. And I'm not even 100% sure what or who Sarge is.
Right, and we'll get to that here
We'll
in a
get to
second
that in a
because
minute.
so confused. But last thing I did want to say, Carolina Wydra, who plays Izel, I didn't think she was that great in this episode. That scene with Clark Gregg, I don't know. She has one note, and it's like overly brooding, and she delivers kind of every line the same way. It's still creepy as fuck, but it just, I mean, she
Yeah,
was.
it's hard to know if she's intentionally doing it like that because that's how the character's written and that's what she's been being directed and told to do, or if that's all she can do, because we haven't seen anything else. But you would think that in a such an emotionally driven scene like the one with Clark Gregg, that you would get something different out of her, even if it was just a slight, just a little bit. If they're supposed to be friends from a past life, past realm, whatever, the Manny Pacquiao dude, I don't know.
Yeah, I couldn't tell if she wanted to fuck him, if they used to date, if she's I mean, and maybe that's, I know part of that is what they want to go for, but I also think part of it is like, what is she trying to convey? Like, what's her character's real emotion or thought in this scene? And I get that the mystery part is kind of what leads us into being afraid of her, but also, if I'm supposed to know what emotion I'm gonna feel, like, I have to, that has to be conveyed to me. I don't know.
Yeah.
She wasn't awful, but
Well, let's go in because we're already kind of talking about stories. So let's just keep going on that note. What'd you think of the story this episode?
man. A lot of questions. So first off, I'll read the synopsis real quick, even though it just is very
Please.
mysterious. This is according to IMDb. It says the team must trust each other in order to face impending doom and an enemy that's closer than they think. So to break it down simplistically, we basically have Izel jumping from body to body on the team. We realize that Sarge isn't actually murdered by a possessed May, or they thought he was, but he's coming back to life. And Fitz and team realize that the gravitonium device that they have basically consolidated all three monoliths into one. And obviously, the episode ends with Izel possessing Yo-Yo and taking the gravitonium. So,
Allegedly.
right. So a lot happened. I think the whole point of this episode and what's always creepy. This was kind of part of the Hydra reveal in was it season 1 or 2 of Shield.
I think it was the end of one.
Well, part of that motif again, where it's kind of intense and interesting, where you're like, who do we trust? Who's Izel? I thought that was a dynamic that was really cool in this story and kept you guessing. And they didn't introduce it until about halfway through, so we didn't have to deal with it the whole time. What did you think?
Yeah, I absolutely loved the not knowing, is that actually insert character here or is that actually Izel? Which was really cool. And like you said, they kept us guessing until about halfway through the episode, when once the team figures it out, and then how they go about figuring out if they if Izel is in the room or not in the room with them was just really, really creative writing and storytelling, to isolate Yo-Yo and Daisy in another room because they're the most powerful, and then continue on that kind of detective investigation. The monoliths, having all three of them consolidated into the gravitonium ball sphere thing, super creative. There's no fucking way they had that shit planned when they captured it in the gravitonium.
I forgot about that ball. Too.
I completely forgot about it. And for them to be able to go, okay, hey, where are we going to go with this? How are we going to get all three of these? Because we were right. The monoliths were destroyed, right?
Mm-hmm.
We said that a couple episodes ago. Like, I thought they were destroyed. So how are they going to do this? For them to bring all that back together in the sphere, extremely creative writing. Probably, this might be the best written episode of the season. I'm not going to lie. I don't think it's as fun as Fear and Loathing on Planet Kitson. They're just they're very different. They're very different. This was an extremely well wrote and directed episode. Everything with the story, you can really feel the stakes are ramping up now.
I'm very confused by two scenes. Number one, when Fitz was talking about the process of how the monoliths were consolidated in the gravitonium ball, I didn't understand a word of that.
I didn't understand it either. I just said, okay, cool, they're in the ball.
Right. And then at the very end, the Izel and Sarge conversation, I'm so confused about, but I think I kind of understand
like the when he's Manny Pacquiao.
Why do you keep making, I don't get why he's Manny Pacquiao.
Because his name's like Pacquiao. Like she said it.
I thought you were saying like he was like a boxer or something, or
he might be. We don't know.
Who knows? We don't know what his skill set is. Yeah, that scene I had a lot of questions about, and it's tough because we kind of have the unreliable narrator. Like, how much is Izel just being full of shit to try and manipulate him, and how much of it is she telling the truth to try and manipulate him?
Which is kind of what makes it so much fun.
Right, and more interesting. All right, best scene. I mean, I know we have the same one here, so I'll let you introduce it.
Go ahead and do your honorable mention first, because we're going to talk about this scene for a little bit.
So my honorable mention actually was the one I just mentioned, when it was Fitz and Ward uh, going over how Izel is connected to Sergeant Coulson, and then Fitz basically shitting. Sorry, when I say Ward, I mean Jeffrey Ward, who plays Deke. My fault.
You
Fitz,
refuse to say Deke.
Fitz and Deke going over kind of a little bit of the exposition on how Izel is connected to Sarge and Coulson. Like he puts up that little timeline of events. But then I also like it because Fitz starts shitting on Deke's company.
Right.
Like how stupid it is that he fucking started that. And he's like, yeah, this has really messed with my IPO. And I just love to see Deke squirm. So that, to me, that was my honorable mention. And then I'll let you take the creme de la creme in terms of our
Yeah, I mean, there's no doubt. If this isn't your best scene, then why the fuck are you even watching this show? This was incredible. On the bridge, once they discovered that Fitz was Izel and she's just zooming in and out of people. And then more specifically within that scene, the part where
I just liked when they were trying to
Davis is
figure
about
out.
to shoot her, and
Yeah.
then she zooms through like 8 people in slow motion, but yet it's sped up. And all of a sudden she's at the top, and she said, "I wish it didn't have to come to this," more or less, and makes Davis jump,
Yeah.
which is just the entire scene was incredible. Them figuring out like, oh, we all have one secret that one other person in this room knows, and validating it and figuring out who is who. I honestly did not know that it was Fitz. I thought that it was still going to be Deke. And maybe that was just extremely naive of me that they're going to tell us it's Deke and then it's not actually going to be Deke. But
Yeah. It was cool because you could tell the actors had fun playing like a possessed version of themselves, even if it was just for a brief period of time.
yeah,
And DeCastiger, I mean, we've seen that dark side of him in Agents of Hydra. It's just so fucking creepy and cool. But his aversion to answer the question. It's like when you catch your dog with something in its mouth. It's like, what is that? And your dog just won't open its mouth. You're like, well, I know you have something because normally you would just open your mouth. Yeah, that was a cool scene. That was probably a top 5 scene of this season for me. And I know 2 of the others are definitely in Fear and Loathing on Planet Kitson, so which is a stacked episode. But that one was great. I actually might just go back and rewatch that scene in and of itself now that we know who was who. All right, last part. Theories and questions.
right.
What do you got here? I have 3 questions and then a theory.
All right. So first, I killed it on the theories last week. I said Coulson was not going to be dead. He's not.
I can't believe you were right about that. That was so ballsy.
And also that Davis was Izel. That one wasn't as far of a stretch, but I was right about that one. So
Can I ask a quick question about that? This wasn't one of the ones I had, but so Davis passing out at the party, was that seemingly a side effect of her possessing him, or was she? Because it didn't seem like anyone else. She was warping back and forth between people, and they weren't passing out. Like, why was that
No,
happening?
I think that was her falling
Pretending.
asleep, pretending, her getting to that her making her moves. You got to slow play it at the beginning. I think that's what that was.
So she just wanted him to act like he was like hammered, drunk, and passed out.
I think so, yeah. And that was how she was lying low, if you will.
Okay. All right.
So I don't think this will happen, but I really wanted to. There's a line where Fitz says, "There's only one other person I've seen that's like this. It's Ghost Rider."
Yeah.
We've dealt with him before. I really hope, and even if it's not to the very last episode, they bring Ghost Rider back, and Ghost Rider has to fight Izel and or whoever the fuck Coulson Sarge is going to be, this Pacquiao guy.
Mm-hmm.
I want them to bring Ghost Rider back. I think it could be in the card still, right?
Yeah, that was my second thing. I haven't been actively looking for any type of announcements on if Robbie Reyes is coming back to the show. So I don't know, but it seemed like to purposely mention Ghost Rider's name. I mean, he's got to come back in some form, right? Or
Yeah.
is Izel or Sarge some other spirit of vengeance? Like, are they Mephisto or something? We don't, like another Ghost Rider villain.
Yeah, that would be really cool if that were the case too. I feel like there has to be another Ghost Rider tie-in to this. And I mean, Marvel's not stupid. They got the property back. They're gonna throw it in when they can and be very methodical about it. Obviously, we're not going to get a Ghost Rider show or a Ghost Rider movie.
I actually think we are getting a Ghost Rider show with Gabriel Luna on Hulu, but it's not connected to this, which makes no sense.
Yeah, I am going to pretend I didn't hear that. So I feel like they have to sprinkle Ghost Rider properties and entities in where they can.
Or if they
Um,
are having the show, this could be a great tease for that.
yeah, yeah. I mean, that also could be Bobby and Hunter were supposed to get their own show,
God, I forgot about that.
and maybe this is them trying to do something like that again. I don't know.
I totally forgot about Bobby and
I
Hunter.
know. I would have watched the shit out of that show.
Damn.
My other theory that I've got here is one of them, Yo-Yo or Mac. Actually, I have two theories. One is Yo-Yo or Mac. One of them's not gonna make it out of this season alive. I think we've said that in the past. I think you actually mentioned that a few episodes ago, because they're re-engaging their romantic relationships and blah blah blah. And now that they're the only two on that ship with Izel, one of them is going to die, and
Yeah.
the other one may have to kill it. So Mac may have to kill Yo-Yo, or Yo-Yo may have to kill Mac.
And sadly, as we've seen Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. do before, they bring people together so that they can rip them apart from
Right.
us.
Right.
And I love how May knew they were fucking too. She's like, "What? You asked what I knew."
Yeah. I mean, she's like, look, I've been there. I understand. And look at him. He's a specimen. I try and hit that.
Yeah, look at those biceps. I can't blame you. All
Um,
right.
I got one more.
Okay.
I don't think Yo-Yo is possessed by Izel right now.
So who is Izel in, and then what's
Daisy.
the? So if
Mac, Yo-Yo, and Daisy were in the hallway with the gravitonium from with Izel, right?
yes,
So Izel, off screen, maybe whatever, threatens them. That says, "Hey, you two are going to take this to where I want you to go, and I'm going to be Daisy." And it's a way of them re-engaging Daisy as the main character, which they've gotten away from this season. Again,
that's interesting.
I don't know that I'm going to be right on that one. That one's going out on a limb. But the fact that she was so, it's suicide. Why is he going? He couldn't do that. I don't know. It felt like too much in our face there at the end.
I think it's a ballsy prediction, and I respect it. Yeah, the only thing would be like, so Max doing it as the director to save his team, basically.
Max doing it because she maybe is threatening to blow up the world or the earth or whatever, and
Right.
use that gravitonium. And he
Well,
says,
the
"Well,
way
what
that
if?"
that would
And he
happen,
basically
though.
makes a deal with the devil.
All right. It's weird though that Izel would separate herself from the gravitonium, but maybe she has another plan for it or something else she wants to do with it.
Yeah, I don't know.
Hmm.
I,
So kind of on that note, I didn't really get Izel's discussion with Sarge at the end. What is Izel herself a Shrike? And why does she want to unleash them to recreate some like long lost species of hers? Because was seemingly like her manifesto, and I still didn't understand it.
I'm so bum fucking puzzled by that. I don't. I mean, we're not smart people. We both know that.
Sure,
But
sure.
like, the show also knows that we're the people that are watching this, and they have to dumb it down for us. And I feel like they didn't dumb it down enough for me to understand it. I'm still intrigued and I'm still excited. And once the big aha moment comes, I'll be like, oh, I understand that conversation. But I
Yeah,
don't
but we
really.
have 3 episodes left, and I still have no idea what the villain's goal is.
I think the true, I don't know, maybe the true villain or the true power or weapon or whatever is Sarge. I mean, we saw his little hand do that little thing
Right, and that's
at
actually
the
my
end.
next question. What the fuck are his powers? He has like a Deadpool, Wolverine healing ability, but then he's also kind of hinted at as being a body jumper, and like you said, his flesh is like coming off of his skin. Is he like a Terminator? It seems like he could just do everything,
Yeah,
right?
he's kind of whatever the show needs him to do right now. He's super
And he,
strong.
yeah, he was. That's why he was able to keep up with Mac in a fist fight earlier. I mean, but he was none of this earlier in the season.
Yeah, I don't know, man.
I'm very confused.
Unless she has to use the gravitonium sphere to release him, and he's like the ultimate Shrike.
Huh.
I don't know.
Although, so one theory that I have is they had mentioned a lot of times, especially Izel, that the memories, quote unquote, that Sarge had of his family were not his memories. They were Coulson's. So
Right.
that
And
leads
his family is May and Daisy and all of them.
correct. So that leads me to believe that at the end of this season, one way or another, we will get quote unquote Phil Coulson back, and that they will be able to restore his memories into Sarge's body. So effectively, for the last season, we will have Phil Coulson.
Yeah, I can see that. I can also see that whatever this Pacquiao guy is and Coulson have merged, and Coulson will now have the Pacquiao guy's powers.
Yeah.
And so now they'll have essentially a third super being on the team with Yo-Yo and Daisy.
Also, we need to keep in mind, and Trend Pimp pointed this out, season 7, which was actually just announced as the last season of the show, they don't have to tie up the villain in the next 3 episodes. I mean, we'll get some resolution, but they know for sure for the first time in a couple years that they have another season to work with and play with for the story. So it doesn't mean that like they have to wrap all this up in the next 3 episodes. And I would be fine. I mean, as long as we get some answers, I'd be fine with putting this off to the last season.
Yeah, I agree. I think that I honestly wouldn't be surprised if they quote unquote tie it up because we have 3 episodes left, right?
Mm-hmm.
So they quote unquote tie it up in the next 2 episodes, and then they have that last episode, that 13th episode, as a setup for the last season.
Yeah,
they tend
to
the
do
stage. You're setting the stage. You're saying, hey, here are the stakes, so that now they can hit you with the big bang, episode 1, which is something that really the last 2 seasons they haven't been able to do. They've set it up like, yeah, if we do, and then they have to go back and go, okay, the first 2 or 3 episodes is them kind of
setting up the whole season,
setting up the rest of the season. And this season especially, it was really hard because there was only 13 episodes.
Yeah. But it's worked. I mean, there has not been an episode where I was like, oh, that was a filler episode. Like, everything has done a pretty good job of progressing the plot. Maybe one episode.
Yeah, there was maybe 1 or 2 in there that I wasn't as invested in. I was like, okay, maybe I'll get on Insta here. But for the most part, I think that they've done a really good job of keeping the story, keeping the plot moving, knowing that they don't have a whole lot of time.
Yep. All right, before we let the people go, anything else you want to say about season 6, episode 10 of Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D.?
Chloe Bennett's getting a little weight back on her, which I like.
Yeah. And I hope you're right in some capacity that she is a more prominent character these last 3 episodes.
Yeah, and maybe they're going to set it up to where she is the prominent character, kind of bookends the whole series, with that last season. I don't know, but...
Not a bad idea. She is a fan favorite. All right, for the Mad Scientist, Brian Banner, I'm the Mayor, Jeff Hornacek, and we are the Bro Force Squad podcast. Thank you guys so much for checking us out. Please follow us on Twitter at Bro Force Squad. Tweet at us there. We want to know your thoughts on the show, especially as this season's wrapping up. Subscribe to us on iTunes, Spotify, and YouTube. If you type in Bro Force Squad, 3 separate words, you'll find us there. Type in those same 3 words on letterboxd.com. You can read all of our movie reviews and check out everything that we're doing on our website, broforcesquad.com. Till then, we'll see you guys next week for Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. Izel's like Jägermeister. She just makes everybody black out and forget what happened in the last hour and a half.
Yeah, but she doesn't make people throw up on your shoes.
Just one time.
It's one time she did.
It's Super bad. It's like 8.